Hi, I'm John Wilson, Senior Designer at Lutra, and I'm here today with Jonathan Church. And we're going to talk a little bit about fluoride. Fluoride's a pretty contentious issue in the news, especially here in New Zealand at the moment. But we're just going to take a broad look at what it is and why it's used. And John's going to talk us through that a little bit. How is fluoride dosed into the water?
So fluoride's dosed in the same way that many other chemicals are dosed in water treatment. It's specifically for fluoride, there's three common types that are used for dosing systems. Two of these types are powders. One of them's sodium fluoride. That's less common in New Zealand, and slightly more common of the powders is sodium silica fluoride. There's also a liquid form, which is hydrofluorosilicic acid, and that's obviously a liquid, which is dosed into the water. With the hydrofluorosilicic acid, as a liquid, that means that it can just be dosed directly using very accurate metering pumps into the water supply.
So this is where the HFA is delivered. There is a cam lock fitted with a electronic coding tag. So the tanker brings the HFA up here, it's within a bunded area, and then the driver will transfer the HFA through this pipe and into the bulk tank. The HFA is delivered through a pipe to this double-skinned storage tank, bulk storage tank, and from here it's transferred into the day tank. So from the bulk tank, the fluoride is transferred into this day tank by a series of duty standby transfer pumps. This operation occurs once per day to make sure that only a day's worth of fluoride is present in this tank. And if the system asks to do a transfer from the bulk tank to the day tank more than once a day, an alarm is tripped indicating that the usage has been higher than it should be. On the transfer system, we have a series of safety features in the event of any kind of isolated valve. And from the day tank, the HFA is sucked through into these duty standby dosing pumps. So these pump through a series of fittings and are then measured by a downstream flow meter. We also have a very convenient washdown hose in the event of any HFA spills due to maintenance or unintended reasons, and a safety shower and eye wash. So if anyone is exposed to HFA, they can immediately be washed down.
Are there any dangers associated with using fluoride?
As a chemical, it has its own dangers, like many of the chemicals that are used for many different reasons, not just in water treatment. The powder form of sodium fluoride and sodium silica fluoride is relatively dangerous, especially if inhaled or got on the skin. The liquid form, hydrofluorosilicic acid, is obviously a liquid, so more prone to potentially leaking out and getting in places like any liquid, but in a properly designed system, again, it's relatively safe if you take the correct precautions. In all the cases, we always wear the correct PPE or personal protective equipment, the face masks, the protection for the eyes, full suits, everything that's needed, which reduces the risk to the minimum. But as with any kind of health and safety risk, you want to eliminate it as far as you can, so you don't have to interact with the chemicals.
In terms of adding a fluoride treatment system to your plant, is it just a case of getting the hardware, getting the containerized system or the new system and just plugging it in, doing a bit of commissioning and away you go?
Fluoride is a little bit different than many of the other systems because of the tolerance range of what's considered to be an overdose and what's considered to be an underdose. So in terms of that compared to any other chemical, often many treatment plants haven't dealt with fluoride before, so there won't be many risk mitigation measures in place. And also the controls of the fluoride need to be extremely precise to maintain that within that dental health range, but no higher. So looking after the analyzers, looking after the equipment, making sure everyone understands and is trained on the system is obviously critically important to fluoride, making sure that it's done safely.